Good evening and welcome to this week in review. Tonight's stories include Education Week activities, update on Richard Strickland's boat, Sea Cadet Speak Off update. These stories plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack and more coming up after this.
This is the place where the dawn breaks earliest, the new year comes soonest, where the Atlantic first meets the New World, the oldest city in North America, the far east of the Western world. Imagine that.
March the 5th to the 9th was Education Week. This year's theme was Ready, Set, Grow. On Tuesday, the RCMP did a presentation for both schools. The morning session for the elementary school students and the afternoon session for the high school. You may notice that some students and teachers are wearing pajamas. It was Pajama Day at the school. This was part of the Education Week activities as well. The presentation consisted of a video showing the training of RCMP dogs and a question and answer period. The students were not shy about asking questions. Constable Mark Perard and his partner Farrell did the presentation. This is Farrell, a RCMP police dog. Needless to say, the elementary school students were quite excited. Farrell showed the students how he helps in drug searches.
That's his uniform. Down. See what he did? See that? So it's going to work. So I'm going to put the collar on him. I'm going to cut him loose. He's going to run all over the place until he finds the drug. Okay?
The afternoon session for the high school students was a little different. The students also watched the video about the RCMP dog training, but these students were sitting on the floor. A volunteer was needed to hide drugs on their person. There was no shortage of volunteers. This time, Farrell demonstrated how he can find drugs hidden on a person. also wowed the students with his apprehension abilities. This time, Constable Ron Caldwell was the volunteer.
You're gonna get knocked over there. You're right in the...
Constable Mark Perard informed the students that Farrell didn't realize he was working. He just wanted his rubber toy, which he is given only when he is successful in one of the many areas for which he is trained. Farrell was trained for drug detection, tracking, searching, apprehension, and for search and rescue. We thank the RCMP for the wonderful presentation. Everyone enjoyed it immensely. On Wednesday, the students were given another very special treat as part of Education Week activities. The Insectarium from Deer Lake was visiting. If you notice students wearing shorts and t-shirts, this is because Wednesday was summer day at the school. Mr. Lloyd Ollett from the Insectarium invited the students to take a look around for a little while and then asked them to sit for a short presentation.
I want to tell you a few things about insects and about the displays that we have here. These are all from the Newfoundland Insectarium up in Deer Lake. Some people probably have been there. Anybody? At the group? A few people. We'll expect you all there this summer. The terrariums have live things in them, and the other ones have dried, preserved insects. They're all real. Everything here was once alive. There's no models or anything like that. And they're from all over the world. And the insects were obtained by trading. I collected lots and lots of Newfoundland insects over the years and just started exchanging with people in other countries, from Australia to China to all over South America, Europe, Africa, and that's how the collection came together. This is about 2% of our collection. There's about 1,000 insects here, and we have about 50,000 insects in the collection at the Insectarium. I think one of the most interesting things that we do have there is the glass beehive. Anybody that's been there probably saw the beehive that we have. We have 25,000 honeybees. And this year we're putting up a greenhouse that'll have live tropical butterflies, which is pretty interesting. Now I just want to point out a couple things about insects, so that you won't go away not knowing anything. Nothing knowing now. A couple of very fascinating things about insects. We'll use a little butterfly for our example. Insects all have the same characteristics in common. They always have 4 wings. They always have 6 legs, a pair of antennae, and 3, you bring number of fingers up, 3 main parts to their body. The head, the middle part is called the thorax, and the last part is the abdomen. That's what makes something an insect. Now most of the things I have in the terrariums are not insects. We have 5 terrariums with tarantulas. They're not insects. They have too many legs. They don't have wings. They're arachnids. There's 2 terrariums with scorpions. They're not insects. And there's some millipedes. There's a centipede. And of course the frog and the toad. The connection with insects is that they eat insects. And Insects can be very, very beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful ones that I have. Not this side. I should show you the other side. This is the beautiful morpho butterfly from South America. It's very fascinating because it has absolutely no blue or purple on it at all. Okay, this is a brown butterfly with no blue or purple coloring. You rub the scales out of the wings, they'd be brown. But morphos have the wings. The scales on the wings are arranged at a little bit of an angle, and when light strikes them, you guys see blue or purple. It just doesn't exist. It's an optical illusion. Sometimes when I trade, I get a Wayne Gretzky in return. This is my Wayne Gretzky rookie card here. If you're trading hockey cards. Sometimes people send you things that are very rare. When they're rare, it makes them more valuable. This butterfly from India is worth about $400 US. Okay, just for one butterfly. Butterflies are often the same group, by the way. They're from the order Lepidoptera, which means scaly wings. And this is the other group that are in with the butterflies. This is a lot. What is it? It's not a butterfly. It's a moth, that's right, or a pillar, we call them when they were growing up. This is from Africa. This is the famous sunset moth from Africa. There's all the colors of the sunset on the wings. Moths are very easy to tell from butterflies by the way they hold their wings when they're resting. Moths always keep their wings out like this. Butterflies fold them. Okay? So it's very easy to tell the difference. Now let me show you a couple of them that I got you boys in. The Orthoptera, which are what? Grasshoppers. Believe it or not, when grasshoppers get together with other grasshoppers, you don't call them grasshoppers anymore. You call them locusts. And locusts are just big groups of grasshoppers. The biggest locust swarm that was ever recorded occurred a few years ago in Africa. And the swarm was so big that when the grasshoppers left one area and flew to another area a few miles away, they flew over a town and they blocked out the sun for 10 days. Okay? They blocked out the sun for 10 straight days. Yep, I know. Okay. My best example of camouflage. This is a butterfly from Southeast Asia. It's called the dead leaf butterfly. Okay? And it looks like a dead leaf. Now I'll show you an example of mimicry. I like using this one. This is a moth from Nova Scotia. Look at the edges of the wings. Can you see the caterpillars? There's a caterpillar, another one here, and another one here. There's 4 false caterpillars on the wings. And the caterpillars are there to protect the moth from enemies, like birds. When a bird sees that moth, what does it see? Caterpillars. Goes after a caterpillar. What does it get? It gets a piece of wing. And the moth flies away with the piece missing out of its wing, because it's better to lose a piece of your wing than lose your head. Okay? You lose your head, you're dead. If you lose a piece of wing, you live for another day or a week, and you get to reproduce or whatever you want to do. Usually with insects, you reproduce. That's your main job. Here's another example. This is called mimicry, when you pretend to be something else. Here's a butterfly from South America. Protects itself by scaring away its enemies by pretending to be.
Here are a few more examples of what the insectarium has to offer.
Tomorrow is Backwards Day in Science Day.
Some students didn't mind having hands on. Others were not sure about. Talk about facial expressions.
You take it off my hand, right? Okay. I'll touch that for you. Johnny, put it on my hand. After?
I want to step. I want to piece of glass.
Or your leg. Oh. My hand touched it. I'm going to be brave. Gotta put your hand first. Oh my God. I'm brave.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think that's
That's when you're supposed to leave it there when she says that.
Oh my God, Are you doing? Oh my God.
Oh, he looks really mad now.
Oh my God, am I dead?
He likes it, Jennifer.
Oh my God, shut up. Oh my God, so I thank God.
And he hasn't bitten anybody all day yet.
Oh my God, that's good.
During the insectarium presentation, Fire Chief Glenn Ann had a ticket draw. This was the Wake-a-thon ticket draw. For every $1 you sponsored a fireman, your name went in for a draw. The first draw was for a smoke detector donated by Pro Hardware. It was won by Daphne Janes. Laura Anderson was the lucky winner of a fire extinguisher, also donated by Pro Hardware. Congratulations, ladies. The Burgeo Fire Department would like to thank the public for their generous support. All proceeds from the Wake-a-thon will go towards purchasing new equipment. The Ground Search and Rescue team are organizing a skidoo trip to Grand Brit to purchase new equipment. We spoke to Ralph Porter, one of the organizers for the ride, and he informed us that funds raised will help purchase a small boat trailer for their Zodiac. At the same time, it was noted that the Lioness are raising money to purchase TVs for the acute care unit of the Calder Health Care Center. It was decided at one of the Grand Search and Rescue meetings to invite the Lioness to join them, and both organizations would benefit from the proceeds of the fundraiser. Mr. Porter also stated that the Ground Search and Rescue team is coordinating the ride and collecting donations, while the Lioness are providing soup and sandwiches at the community center on the return from Grand Brit. The skidoo ride is tentatively set for March 17 or 18, weather permitting. Approximately 40 riders have picked up sponsor sheets to date. The organizers have also invited Francois, Grey River, and Ramia residents to go on the ride. Individuals from these communities have agreed to solicit donations for prizes that will be drawn for at the end of the ride. The ride will start at the parking lot of the community center and will be leaving Burgeo at 7 a.m. The trail will be different than previous years. The riders will be going up through Granny's Brook near Wade Warren's cabin, and from there up through the Cut of Buffets. They will be returning to Granny's by way of the pole line. Ice. The riders will not be going over big bar swell ice because of thin ice around the point area, commonly known as cut or creases. Anyone interested in going on the ride must register with the Ground Search and Rescue team. Registration will take place at the community center on Friday, March the 16th. Anyone not interested in collecting sponsors can pay a $10 registration fee. Ribbons will be passed out and worn on the ride. These are the rules the Ground Search and Rescue team has in place for the ride. No alcohol. No riding double on skidoos. Riders must be 13 years of age, and anyone between the ages of 13 and 16 must be accompanied by an adult 19 years of age or older. No ATVs, 3 or 4 wheelers. All riders must wear helmets. We have all riders organized into groups, and riders must remain with their groups at all times. A number of stops are scheduled along the route. If anyone has any questions or concerns, please contact any member of the Ground Search and Rescue. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Come for a good time and we'll sweep you off your feet with jigs and reels and festivals and the world's most friendly folk. Dance your cares away at the Kelligrew Soiree. Imagine that.
Last week on This Week in Review, we told you about Mr. Richard Strickland's boat that had sank. The boat was oiled up on Thursday of last week. It seems that a pipe on the bottom of the boat came off, causing the boat to sink. Christine Strickland informed us that most of the fishermen has never heard of this ever happening before. The Stricklands would like to send a heartfelt thank you to all the individuals who helped them in any way during this trying time. Your help and support was greatly appreciated. On Thursday, February the 15th, the Sea Cadets held their annual Speak-Off. There were 3 individuals who participated in the Speak-Off. Melanie Durnford was declared the winner and then went on to represent Burgeo at the Speak-Off held in St. John's on March the 3rd. Although Melanie didn't win the competition, she ranked among the top 10 out of approximately 45 other participants. She received a medal. Melanie also informed us that the top 10 cadets were interviewed by various media, including CBC Radio. We congratulate Melanie on a job well done. The staff at the bank has begun their fundraising efforts for the Janeway Children's Hospital. Since Easter is just around the corner, the staff at the bank has a basket full of Easter goodies they are selling tickets on. Tickets are $1 each or 3 for $2 and are available from any member of the staff at the bank. Some of the items in the basket include a variety of Easter chocolates, a large pink Easter bunny, Easter activity set, window decals, Easter wreath, and stickers, plus much, much more. The bank staff appreciates your support and looks forward to your continued support. The draw date for the Easter basket has been set for Thursday, April the 12th. Mr. Greg Hilliard, the BDDB officer, stopped by our studio this week for our regular interview. With us in our studio today, our BDDB officer, Greg Hilliard. Welcome out, Greg.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, a long time, is it?
It is, actually. Yeah. I've got to apologize to you. I mean,
that's quite all right.
it seemed like we met over Christmas or just before Christmas, and to be quite honest, we had a lot of things have happened in the last couple of months. That every time we've tried to book something in, it's either I've had to go out there or other things have happened. So it's certainly a pleasure to be here, and I certainly wouldn't want anybody to think that I've neglected trying to inform the community.
No, I know you haven't neglected it. It's just that you've been busy, which is a good thing.
In some ways, yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Sometimes wrong focus at times, but that's okay too, I guess.
Okay, now maybe we should start with the greenhouse update.
Yeah, that's been a major focus for us the last couple of months. Certainly, we've just finished off with a consulting firm, the business plan development, which also looked at a marketing strategy for the company, and actually we're trying to move now into what we call a pre-commercial development stage. We've looked at a major parcel of land within the community, and we've applied for that through Crown Lands, and we're looking at trying to access funds at this point in time to increase the size of the greenhouse fourfold, meaning that at the end of the day there will be a 5-bay facility, hopefully by this summer, in place. And that the company can actually move itself forward in terms of securing a portion of the marketplace, developing its own business strategy to take it on into the next number of years. And our ultimate goal at the end of the day actually is to see them fully commercial viable within the next 2 to 3 years maximum. And of course, the ultimate goal is to approximately see 3 to 4 times of what hopefully people are going to see this summer. We have held major discussions with some funding agencies such as the HRDC and DDR, and as well as we're waiting for a meeting now with the new Minister of Agri-Foods to talk to him in terms of the province commitment to this initiative. So we're really hoping, our goal is set that by the latter part of March or mid-April, we've got some commitment from all levels of government, and that by the early part of May we can actually see construction begin on the new facility. So we're quite pleased. The pilot itself finished up the middle of February, as probably most people are well aware. However, our proponents have actually committed themselves right now, and they've actually started seeding plants in the old greenhouse, and they're basically doing it from the perspective of company development. Just to let people know that basically at this point in time, they're doing it on their own time, at their own pace, and really putting their best effort forward and trying to make this business move. So we're really pleased from that perspective that the company's actually really bought into this initiative as well.
Very good. It sounds like it's full speed ahead for that one. Now on to another one that's been really, I don't know, a thorn in your side, or it's a good project but it doesn't seem to be getting anywhere, and that's the sea urchins.
Well, we've this past week we had a meeting with the new minister, Jerry Reid. I guess what led up to that, as everybody knows, the provincial campaign was on in January leading up to February, and of course we did have the opportunity at that time to meet with two of the candidates running, and the sea urchins was certainly one of our major initiatives that we brought to the table for discussion with those two individuals running for the Premier. Since that time, of course, the Premier has been announced and the new Minister of Fisheries and Agri-Foods. We did have a good, very positive meeting with that individual on Wednesday past. We clarified a number of things. As a matter of fact, we managed to get some of the government services people on the phone during that meeting to basically outline what we could and could not do in trying to access a sea urchin license for this community. And I must say, at the end of the day, it looks very positive. To follow up on that, we met with Merv Bungie of Seafreeze to discuss that, because obviously we're trying to do this in partnership with Seafreeze. And we had, again, a very good positive response from that. And from there, we've actually sent letters to the minister asking him for certain actions and to do it as quickly as possible. So we anticipate, if everything goes according to plan from our discussions and what people have already agreed to, by the end of March we could very well see the BDDB and its proponent have a sea urchin license in hand to begin the potential development of that industry in the community. And of course our goal is, and I think I've said it before, that if we can get that started by October 1 this year, then we're off to the races, and it could very well employ 30, 40 people here. We know the resources out there, there's no doubt about it, and nobody should kid themselves on it. Our industry partner locally has been involved in the harvesting urchins. We have taken a substantial amount of resource from this region and tried to ship it to Portugal Cove to another plant for the primary processing, and of course the secondary, and then ship it off the market, and it's just not working. We've told the minister that, you know, the resource is here, but by the time you truck it up the road, it's not worth 5 cents of what it was when you originally take it out of the water. So it has to be primary processed here. That's great for this community, because it means the majority of jobs in that sector of the whole industry will stay in this community. And right now we've got industry partners on side in Portabass, Corner Brook, as well as Ramia, and a number here in Burgeo who are all willing to go harvest and bring their resource here to Burgeo for primary processing, and then from there we ship it out to an industry partner. So we're really pleased about how it's moving forward right now. People should remember, we just started working on this initiative the latter part of April sometime, and I mean we're less than a year into this, and I think some people will say, you know, development is slow, but sometimes it takes 2 to 3 years, and if we can get a plant operating here, you know, within an 18-month period, we've done substantially well. So it's certainly full steam ahead if we can get that commitment in those letters by the end of March.
Good. That's certainly good to hear. Now you have also here a status of clams. You want to give us a little update on the clams?
Yeah, it's pretty well not much of an update. I guess just to inform the community that we have been informed that as of January 19th, that the licenses that have been held by IFD, or if you want to call them Newfoundland Clam Farms, have been cancelled, due mainly to the fact that there are certain requirements and obligations that they were supposed to fulfill with DFA, and they haven't done that. We are now investigating the potential of reevaluating the resource to see exactly what's out there from, I guess, an independent perspective. IFD, as far as our board is concerned, have been at the end of the day their own worst enemy in this initiative. And we have no problems in saying that we feel that there could be some type of resource out there with some sustainable seasonal development in terms of an industry. Not necessarily what was proposed originally, but what we'd like to do right now is, now that we know that the provincial government has decided that IFD hasn't fulfilled their commitments, that means we can proceed and exactly do an independent study to see exactly what type of resources out there and the amounts. And we've always had a question of how much of resource was there, what the volumes were, what you could sustainably take from that resource to still keep it viable but yet renewable. So that's where we're going to be heading in the next 3 to 4 months. We're hoping to employ a number of people in the community with some expertise in terms of research and development, and identify and get a good handle on exactly what's there in terms of that resource. It might very well be very minimal. We might be able to only do a little bit of harvesting, but again, we look at it from the point of view that if we can create 3, 4, or 10 jobs seasonally, then it's certainly much better than what we have right now.
Okay. Now, you got an interesting one, which a lot of people will find very interesting, is cell phone service. That's been asked for and petitions going around about. So do you have any?
Yeah, it actually, it started, I guess the summer that I came here, about 18 months ago, maybe even a little bit longer, that there was I won't say a petition, there was actually, people were asked if they would be interested in receiving cell service. And of course, in our initial discussions with Newtel Mobility, they basically said that, look, we couldn't look at bringing cell service into any community or any region unless they had X number of subscribers. So some people in the community, including the Chamber of Commerce, went ahead and they actually solicited, I think, close to 300 residents in the community that were very interested in having that service if it was available. So of course that was sent off to Newtel Mobility. We received a letter back last fall basically saying that on an annual basis they review cell phone coverage in the province and evaluate where the most advantageous places would be to provide that service again. Last year they decided to go to the Northern Peninsula, and obviously due to a number of reasons with the business developments that's happening up there, as well of course the tourism sectors has been phenomenal in the Northern Peninsula the last couple of years. So obviously they felt that it was justified, doing that type of business in that area. However, we did follow it up again this last December because they, as I mentioned, they do on an annual basis evaluate the cell service. And this past month I had the opportunity to have discussions with representatives of Newtel Mobility, and we are on the table. Now, how far on the table we are, we're not really sure, but one thing that was told to me is, whatever you do, don't give up on it right now. They know they've got all the facts and figures, and we feel that we've got right now just about as good a shot as anybody of getting that cell service, and hopefully it will work out at the end of the day. The only thing I'll tell the residents that we're still plugging away. Our MHA has written letters of support to Newtel Mobility as well and continues to this day. And needless to say, there is a lot of business that comes down over that Burgeo Highway. And when you look at that highway compared to others, just for the sake of emergencies, it certainly would be very beneficial to have that type of service here. So we haven't given up on it. We're hoping that the general manager for Newtel Mobility has been away on the mainland for the last 8 weeks. When he gets back, he's supposed to notify us exactly what the status of, our proposal is to have it down here. So all I can tell you right now, it is on the table, and it's probably further than we've gotten in the last period of time. So we're certainly going to keep on with this one.
Good, good, good. Now you also got the seniors complex.
Yeah, we just want to inform people in the last few months it's been fairly low-key in terms of the BDD working with its proponent right now. The last couple of months we have developed a full-blown business plan for the development of that initiative, and we're actually in the process right now of trying to put together a proper financial picture to be able to do the construction. We've done a basic analysis in terms of revenues and expenditures, if you want, for the operation. Looks fairly positive. Our biggest hurdle right now is to try and find the capital dollars to put that facility in place. We know the need is there. There was a survey done quite a while ago now, I guess about a year ago, but certainly the response was overwhelming. So I think from a social perspective, nobody can question it. From a need within the community, I don't think anybody can question it. And from the ability to, again, employ a couple of individuals year-round basis for a substantial period of time, nobody can question it either. The biggest problem right now is finding the dollars to actually build this facility. We're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of probably about roughly $800,000 or more. We know what it cost to build the last facility, and our approach is different. We're not going to necessarily go to tender for everything because we know what the cost of tendering does. However, we feel our approach could be employing a substantial amount of people in the development stages of this initiative at a fair market value for wages and whatnot, but still save dollars at the end of the day and be able to put that facility in place for a reasonable amount of money. So that's where we're to today, and I guess especially I wanted to highlight it for the sake of the seniors in the community, because they were, they were solicited and questioned and asked how they felt about the development of this initiative, and the response was overwhelming. And there is some people still saying, "Oh, I wonder what's happening with it." But ourselves and our proponent are still working on it. We're hoping that within the next 3 to 4 months we'll be able to say either this is on, or unfortunately we can't find the financial wherewithal to move this forward. But it's still on the table, and we're still certainly moving it forward as best we can.
Good, good. The Irish tour.
Yeah, as people might recall in the community, last summer we had we were fortunate enough, I should say, to have 6 individuals from Ireland come to the region. 3 of them spent a couple of days in Ramia, and then of course they spent a couple of days in Burgeo and vice versa. And of course they were involved not only in economic development initiatives, and of course we had the people that stayed here in Burgeo work at the greenhouse, but we try to provide social atmosphere and hospitality for these people to give them a good picture of the southwest coast of Newfoundland. Last fall we had a representative from the zone board went to Ireland, and I will tell the residents here that all they could speak of was the 6 of those individuals was their trip down to Burgeo, Ramia and the south coast. They had a fantastic time. So much so is that they want to come back again this year. Not the same crew, but another crew, and instead of only bringing 6, they want to bring 12.
Okay.
So I guess we put on too good of a show in one sense, but that's very positive. So we put our foot forward, and we've said, yes, we're going to do whatever we can. They're probably going to be here for a full week this time. We're still going to split them up into 2 groups, and that means there'll be 6 at Ramia for a period of time and 6 in Burgeo, and then halfway through their stay down here, they'll switch so they get 2 experiences in one. And of course, we like to put on a couple of other different things and activities for those individuals while they're down the region as well. And of course, one of the goals is that we certainly want them to get their hands dirty and get involved in some community economic development initiatives, whether that be town beautification this time, or still working at the greenhouse, or some other things that we've got on our plate. And the same way over in Ramia, there's a few things happening there. It really doesn't matter. We might even stick them up in the Sandbanks Park for a day or 2 to help out in terms of visitors and that kind of stuff. So we're going to be putting a program together again. We're not sure how our approach is going to be. Last year we asked for billets, and we were successful in getting billets in each community. I think that went over fairly well. There was 1 or 2 little hairy moments, but that's normal. Nothing major per se, but certainly I think our approach will be to try and get billets again this year, because not only do they want to get the experience of the geographical area and of course what types of rural development initiatives are going on, but certainly one of the best ways to find out about the culture of any new place is actually stay with people that are actually born and raised and live here. So that's part of our ultimate goal as well. So certainly in the next couple of months, people in the community will hear more about it as the details unfold. As a matter of fact, I've got a meeting in Steveville to meet with people from Ireland on Friday, and hopefully we'll get a better feel for what they're anticipating to look for again this year.
Okay. Now you got another very interesting topic there, TWIR Canada information.
Yeah, at one of our board meetings, the board meeting in January, actually, one of the board members, and this topic has come up a number of times about community beautification, assisting out with, enhancing the community and that. And of course, Town Council has mentioned it on a number of occasions. As a matter of fact, we've partnered in trying to apply for green team projects to actually do community enhancement, and unfortunately, the last couple of years we haven't been successful. But it was mentioned by a board member about TWIR Canada, and I was aware of the program previous and wasn't sure if the town actually had one, because it's a program where you're only eligible once and you get it once. But basically what it is that funding is provided through this federal agency, which is TWIR Canada, and they provide you with funds to actually beautify and enhance your community, and it's mainly geared around tree development. So either transplanting the trees, or you purchase trees and put them in different locations around your community. And of course, I don't have to tell anybody here in Burgeo in terms of the number of trees in the community and whatnot. It has its own mystique beauty, but however, it would be nice if we actually got a little bit more in terms of beautification and tree enhancement and whatnot. Unfortunately, with that program, when we dipped into it, we were about 4 weeks too late. However, we do have it's a continuing program that's been with the federal government now, an independent agency of the federal government, for about 5 or 6 years. So what we've done is we've calendared in that in the fall of the year, actually, we're going to pick right up on it, and hopefully we'll be able to access funding to see a program put in place for next summer.
Okay, so that's not kind of like when we were involved in Girl Guides and Scouts and that type of thing, that someone from the Department of Forestry would come out and bring trees. This is probably on a bigger scale and totally different.
It's, I wouldn't say on a bigger scale, but usually with from my recollection, and certainly Marie, you can correct me, but they used to bring out seedlings, and of course you plant those around. With Tree Canada, they're actually talking about fairly mature trees that you actually bring into an area, and of course you do the whole gamut of digging them up and the proper root system and everything go down. So they're actually fairly probably 5 or 6 year old trees, and what you do is you try to bring native trees in as opposed to trying to bring in different types of exotic species, I guess I'll call it, that are not even native to the area. So that's the way they look at it, and of course they like for you to enhance probably 2 or 3 areas. Like they don't give you enough money to be able to go around the whole community and plug trees all over the place, but they do give you substantial dollars, whereby, for example, you might say, okay, we'll designate the town hall, designate the new school area, and designate a number of different places in the community, like the monuments, and say, look, we want to put some trees in these areas to kind of give it a much more greener beautification look. So that's really their goal at the end of the day, and of course you hire people who assist in doing that. So we think there's certainly some major advantages to it. One of the things noticed, as you're aware, the community's been involved in tidy towns for X number of years since its inception, actually, I think about 5 years ago. And certainly during the evaluations, one of the things that were noted is the lack of trees and shrubbery within the community, and certainly this could probably lead to bigger and better things. Once something's got to start somewhere, and this might be a very, very good way to be able to do it. Okay, well, I think we've covered a wide variety of topics. Is there anything else you'd like to add? No, I guess my other thing again, and I've said it a number of times, is the office is here for the residents of this community. We have tried in the last while to obtain funding for some short-term employment generating programs, and unfortunately I think due to a number of factors, none of the least was the call for the new leadership and the new Premier of the province certainly put a lot of things on hold, and we did not access this year the type of funding that we were available to access last year, which was in some ways certainly disappointing to us. However, that's only one small portion of what we do. Obviously, our bigger portion is to try and find ways and means to give people a sustainable living, and certainly anybody that's interested in business development or community development. I had a gentleman come in the office a few weeks ago, and we talked about human resource development, which is just basically training for individuals in the community. And we talked about a number of different programs and that we might be able to put on in the community that would benefit residents. So it's not only the tangibles, if you want to call it, whereby we can help create a job for somebody, but if we can certainly help in terms of human resource development, training for people that's not being fulfilled right now within the community, then certainly that's part of our mandate as well. So, our office is open and is available and it's for the residents of this community. So, certainly the door is always open. It's just a matter of people phoning and making an appointment. And as I've said before, there's no idea or no initiative that's necessarily off the cuff. The best thing to do is put it on the table and we can evaluate it and see where we go from here. Well, it got to be, because, I mean, we're growing tomatoes in Virgil. Like, who would have ever thought, right? So. Yeah, and there's still some naysayers on that one, too. But then again, the proof, like I told the boys, the proof's in the pudding, right? Exactly. You can't deny what's actually gone on and what's happened here. So we just move forward. Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you very much for having me. Good evening. Stay with us for Off the Right, the community events, and the BBS Playbill, all after this.
There's gannets and puffins, kittiwakes and murres, guillemots, petrels and owls. And you can see where the eagle has landed. Imagine that.
Off the Rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of the Education Week concert at AJM. These are the grade 3 students singing On Top of Spaghetti. Let's look back to March 1993.
Good evening and welcome to the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm Jennifer Marks. The winner of the high school TV bingo was Mrs. Ellen McDonald. Congratulations, Mrs. McDonald. The Burgeo Recreation Commission will host TV bingo on Wednesday, March 14th at 7 p.m. There will be one game for $500. Cards are $1 each or 6 for $5 and are available from any member of the Recreation Commission and are in most stores around town. Please support the Recreation Commission and play TV bingo. The Scotiabank staff are selling tickets on an Easter basket in aid of the Janeway Children's Hospital. Tickets cost $1 each or 3 for $2. The draw date is set for Thursday, April 12th. Help support the Janeway Hospital and buy your tickets. The ACW has scheduled their spring sale for Saturday, March 31st. There will be more details later. The school naming committee has selected Burgeo Academy as the name for our new school. The name is subject for board approval. The Burgeo Public Library are selling tickets on a bid in a bag with valance. Tickets are $1 each or 3 for $2. The draw date is Thursday, April 12th. Please support the Burgeo Public Library and buy your tickets. If your group or organization has upcoming event planned, we'll be happy to advertise it for you. Just call the BBS office by Wednesdays of each week to have items included in this portion of our broadcast. That concludes the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. See you next week.
BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Try your luck on Wednesday by playing Recreation Commission TV Bingo. Join Pansy and the gang for 2 stories, a craft, and lots of fun on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless.